So two things, right? In the fourth and fifth rounds where Jones got some partial takedown, okay? And I know people that watch the fight are gonna be like, he took him down, but he got right back up, okay? So it's an MMA fight, right? So Jones showed more skills in MMA. He showed he had better wrestling, he showed he had better kicking, he showed he could last longer in the fight. Reyes did a great job of defending the takedown. He pretty much got up, hip heisted, and got up right after he got taken down. Right? But those still count for something in the judge's eyes. It's like saying, I landed a right hand on you, but I didn't knock you out, so it doesn't mean anything. Right? So if I take you down and you get back up, that should count for something. Even if you don't put a point on the board, it should count for something. So in a fight like this, I think he did show more skill. He did show that he was more well-rounded than Reyes. That was another factor for me deciding giving it to Jones. I'm going to give you another thing, okay? And I don't know what you think about this, but this is what I think when I look at Jon Jones' career, okay? He fought, let's go back to his MMA. So like, if you go all the way back to when he was champ, right? He fought Vitor, he fought Rashad, he fought Gustafsson, it was a hard fight, he fought Chael Sonnen. You know, and he comes out and he says, you know, after like all of his stuff, he got in trouble, this and that. He comes out and he says, yeah, I would go out, I drink, I crazy, I was a party guy. And the way he fought in those fights was a lot different than when he's fighting now. Okay, and I think Jon Jones like turned a new page in his life. Like he's probably like clean, he doesn't party as much, he's becoming more of a family man. But you know this as well, like guys fight according to their personality. You know what I mean? So someone will have a fighting style that goes with their personality. And I think Jones, by nature, is a wild guy. And probably more so in his younger years. So when he was, you know, out doing the crazy stuff, partying, it's not anything bad. Like, you know, I'm not saying he should go back to doing what he was doing because he did some bad things. But when he had that more I don't care kind of mentality, you saw it in his fights. Now he's a little bit, I don't want to say conservative, but he's a little bit less that guy. You know what I mean? So you see a shift in Joe. After this, all this bad stuff happened, he kind of turned a new page in his life, and now he's a different guy. So maybe that's part of the reason too, like he's trying to adjust his new life or new way of living, personality to the fighting. And before, it really went well with him. I'm not saying you should go out to any like fighters out there, anyone that wants to fight or something. Like I'm not saying you should go out and do what Jon Jones did in the past. Like, I'm not saying that.
So he should really, as I said before, he should really look in the mirror and ask himself if he really wants to do this. Because I don't think he's gonna go in there with a half-ass attitude like I really don't want to be here anymore. Because if that's his attitude, he's really gonna get hurt. So I think he'll decide that before he gets into the fight. Like just my perspective, I don't look at it as that he's fighting differently now because he's not as hungry or not as wild as he was before. I just think maybe he's more mature in his life and just training smarter. Just a few things that he can still improve on. If he just got a little bit more of using his jab more, and maybe just not. I don't mean staying on his toes like back and forth, but just a little bit more movement. That would help. That would have helped him, like made a difference in this fight. That like in the outcome as opposed to him just staying flat-footed and letting homeboy just run circles around him. If he would have used his jab more and maybe just stayed on his toes to cut off the ring, this fight might have looked different. It might look different. So again, he has to ask himself, am I gonna change my style? Maybe not change the style, just add a few things.
Yeah, become a new.
Yeah. Because like you said, if he, I didn't really think about that. About the outside factors.
I know it's a crazy way to look at it.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense for some
kind of way.
Yeah, every fighter is different, but there's some fighters that does their outside does affect them in the ring. For a lot of fighters, some fighters it doesn't. So I guess we'll just have to see. Man. This guy, most people look at him as one of the greatest of all time.
Definitely, he's definitely the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it, he's been champion since 2011. That's 9 years.
A decade straight of dominance. Yeah.
It's insane.
Definitely.
It's unheard of in MMA at least.
So the next couple of fights, I mean, we're gonna see. Is he gonna move up to heavyweight, or is he gonna stay at light heavyweight and still fight these young lions?
I'd like to see him move up to heavyweight.
Oh yeah.
I think it would be exciting, especially for him, because what I find with Jones at least is I find he fights to the guy's level. So when he gets that hard fight, and Reyes was the first guy to really challenge him on that, because you see him fight like Gustafsson, there's a similar kind of thing, and he rose to the occasion. He came back, fought him again, he beat him. And he fought Anthony Smith. He's not a lesser opponent than the other guys he had fought, but definitely a lesser name, less experience, right? And you saw he just kind of like toyed with him, right? It wasn't really a challenge. He pretty much won the whole fight.
So then you can kind of take that into consideration too, that maybe he didn't exactly. And I've heard other fighters say this before, even in boxing. I've heard Roy Jones, when he started to get effed up later on in his career, it all started with him saying that he couldn't get up for those type of fights, so maybe he didn't train as hard or mentally wasn't as into it.
You said this after he retired?
After he won the heavyweight championship fight, and he went back down. But anyway, enough about boxing. Just
most people don't know shit.